Tiyatha Om Gati Gati Aragati Arasamgati Bodhi Swaha Tiyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Arasamgati Bodhi Swaha Dhyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Arasamgati Bodhi Swaha Dhyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Arasamgati Bodhi Swaha Dhyata Gati Arasamgati Bodhi Swaha Dhyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Arasamgati Bodhi Swaha. Okay. Rejection, page 15. The root text, page 15. Rejection of arising from itself, the first alternative. 8C and D. If it originates from itself, it'll have no benefit at all. Okay. So how this, first to reject this, we need to know the how somebody accepts the production from the self. Once you know their position so well, then your rejection will be very effective. So as we discussed earlier, how the Samkhya explains this, that it is like, say, ideally speaking, it is the same tree which is in the non-manifest form within the seed, so that becomes manifest. That is known as the production from the self. And then another one is the seed and the shoot. The shoot as the result, seed as the cause. These two are nothing, essentially the same nature. The same nature. Say for example, say with the same parents, two children, one boy, one girl, right? Two children. Are they from the same substance, or they are from different substance? They are from different substance. You're getting it? They're from different substance. Although we say that it's the same parents, but if we go deeper into the philosophy and psychology, we come to realize that this is how conventionally people accept it. Otherwise, the basic substantial cause of the physical form of the two children, they are not the same. They're different, right? Okay. And but what the Samkhya's are saying, this is in fact more than that. It's not just what the conventional world accepts. Literally, they say that these two are made of the same substance. If it's made of the same substance, then as we said earlier, the 10,000 bricks, they are in the form of stupa, they're in the form of the altar. Then you get the impression that the altar and the stupa is just the same object, because the 10 bricks, they cannot at the same time, at one point in time, the same time, they cannot take two different forms, right? Okay, so if they take the same thing, although they with different vocabularies or whatever, they are the same thing. And then now, how the Samkhya say, if the same substance in the form of seed, in the form of shoot, right? Although we see them differently, but essentially they are same, right? Although we may call it deceptively, we see them as different, but the essence, the substance-wise, is just the same substance. It's not the similar and same, these two different, right? Same, the human beings are same. Human beings, all the human beings, they are same, right? Okay, but substance-wise, if you go into the logic and philosophy, we see that the substances are very different. Because atoms, none of the atoms my right hand has is with the left hand. The two hands, they don't share one atom, right? So therefore, but the atoms which constitute my right hand, atoms which constitute my left hand, these two are very similar. They are not one. But what they are saying is that the substance, the nature of the seed, the nature of the shoot, these two are one. So with the one, these two should be, we may see them differently, but these two should be essentially the same. If the same, then the shoot produced from the seed is like shoot produced from the shoot. You're getting it? This is known as the self-production. So this is to be rejected. So now, 8, C and D. If it originates from itself, it will have no benefit at all. Benefit here, benefit, underline this or hyphenate this with reason. If it originates from itself, it will have no benefit at all. Okay, so the benefit or the reason, there's no reason. For example, if the shoot is already there, if the house is already there, then say I want to eat the apples, and the apple tree is already there with very rich, good apples there, and I want to plant the apple tree. Makes no sense. The whole purpose is what? For me to enjoy the fruits, and is right there. So if self-production means what is to be produced should be at the time of the seed. If it is already there at the time of the seed, then why should it be produced? The purpose of production is something which was non-existent earlier should be brought to existence, right? So therefore, if it has already existed, then there's no need for it to be produced. Okay, if it originates from itself, it will have no benefit at all. Benefit for the origination, benefit for the production of the result. Number 2, moreover, it is illogical for that which had already arisen to arise again. Say something has already arisen, the shoot is already arisen, something which is already arisen for it to arise again makes no sense. Say apple seed of 2014, then the apple tree of 2016, and then from the 2016 apple tree again there's going to be seed. From this seed you plant in 2018, we can have the apple tree. So there are 2 apple trees. These two are not the same apple trees. These 2 are different apple trees. We are talking about the same. What is produced, what is already produced, for it to be produced again makes no sense. It is totally illogical, right? But in the conventional world, we do see that from the apple tree A in 2016 can give rise to apple tree 2018. But these 2 are not the same apple trees. These 2 are different apple trees, right? Okay, for the production from the cell, this is a problem. Okay, stanza 9. if one conceives what has already arisen to arise once again, the arising of sprouts and so on will never occur in everyday experience. Okay, now the reasons are very powerful. Reason are powerful, and also that once you know the reasoning, read these, and as you read this, the reasons must be activated in your mind. As it is activated, your mind is being constantly sharpened. Right? That is so important. If one conceives what has already arisen to arise once again, then the arising of sprouts and so on will never occur in everyday experience. Let's say that the seed and the sprout, right? If if there's a self-production, seed producing itself, which means seed will produce the seed. And again the second seed, again is producing itself, it will produce the seed. So however many years lapses, it will constantly give rise to the seed all the time. And if the seed, always you find the seed, where there's a seed, the sprout of this seed should not be there. The sprout of the seed and the seed of that sprout, the causal factor, the causal seed of this sprout should not exist simultaneously. You getting it? So therefore, where you find the seed, you will never find the sprout of the resultant state of that seed in the form of the sprout. Where there's a seed, this sprout will not be found. So if the seed keeps giving rise to itself, the seed all the time, then it will never get a chance. The sprout will never get a chance to come into being. So it says that if we conceive what has already arisen to arise once again, which means the seed giving rise to seed, arising of sprouts, and so forth. Sprout, and then the flowers, then the fruits. So all never occur in everyday experience. And the seed will continue to reproduce themselves until the end of existence. The seed will keep giving rise to seed all the time until the end of existence. In that way, then, in what way then can that sprout ever destroy that seed? Meaning that, say, when the sprout comes into being, where's the seed? The seed is destroyed, seed is gone. Right? Destroyed, not in the sense of, say, damaging like this, but the seed becomes non-existent. At the time of the shoot, the sprout, the seed becomes non-existent. Why the seed becomes non-existent? Because the result has already come into being. Right? So that is the meaning of the seed annihilating, not really annihilating, the seed disappearing. The seed not becoming non-existent was because of it's coming into being of the sprout. Right? When the sprout comes, the seed disappears. Okay. How many of you were once a 10 years old boy or girl? All of us, right? Now where is that 10 years old boy and girl? Existent or non-existent? Non-existent. What made that be non-existent? Because the 20 years old or 30 years or 40 years old, the girl or boy has already come up. Right? So the younger one is already gone. Right? So what made the younger one gone was because the older one came into being. Right? So the sprout comes into being, then the seed already should disappear. So the seed disappearing, what's the factor which made the seed disappear was because of the shoot coming into being. Okay. So if the seed continues to give rise to the seed all the time, then the shoot will never come into existence. If the shoot never comes into existence, then the shoot cannot be the factor to make the seed to disappear. Right? So it says, in what way then can that sprout ever destroy that seed? Number 10. There wouldn't be for you any difference between the seed, the generative cause, and the sprout, its effect, with respect to the shape, color, flavor, potency, or ripening. Okay, let's say That the seed, what is the size of the apple seed? Very tiny apple seed. And what's the color of apple seed? And what's the color of the golden apple? Huh? Golden color. And what's the color of the seed of the golden apple? Brown. The color is very different. And what's the taste of the golden apple? Particularly coming from Manali? Huh? Very sweet. And what's the taste of the seed? Bitter, right? It's bitter. Okay. And eating the seed will give rise to a very pleasant experience. No, eating the golden apple gives you a pleasant feeling. Yes. The result of taking the seed, result of taking the apple seeds, the apples is very different. Color is very different, right? And the shape is very different, right? Size is very different. Okay, so if there's a self-production, production from itself, then the result and the cause, there should be no difference between the two in terms of the color, the shape, and the the flavor, the potency, and so forth. Stanza 10. There wouldn't be for you any difference between the seed, the generative cause. The seed is what? The cause. Generative cause meaning the cause. And the sprout. And sprout is the effect. So these two should have no difference with respect to their shape, color, flavor, potency, ripening. These two things, don't they differ with respect to these things there? Do they differ or not differ? In actuality, they do differ, right? But if there's self-production, then this is what you have to denigrate, that the difference in terms of these things should be absent. If it is through abandoning the seed's own essence, which was there first, that it assumes a different essence, how could it then, okay, so we have to change a little bit here. How could it then be the nature of that? How could it then be the nature of that? Okay, how could it then be the nature of that? Okay, so what is being if it is through abandoning the seed's own essence, which was there first, that it assumes a different essence. If you say that there's a difference in terms of color, shape, potency, and so forth, there's a difference between seed and the result. If you accept that there's a difference, which means that the seed, the substance of the seed, the nature of the seed in terms of the color, shape, and so forth, you have to give them up, or you have to remove them in the sense that it should change. It cannot keep going. You have to let go of these to acquire new shape, new flavor, new, say, the potency, and so forth. Right? If that is the case, then the nature of the seed and the nature of the sprout or the result is very different. And if this is what you're going to accept, after seeing the contradiction as the positive, or as pointed to by Acharya Chandrakirti, if this is what we're going to accept now, that the seed and the shoot, there's a difference in color, shape, potency, flavor, and so forth, then you are saying that the nature of the seed and the nature of the shoot, these two are not the same, these were different. If these were different, then how can you say that if it's through abandoning the seed's own essence, the color, the brown color, you should abandon it, acquire the golden color, and the bitter taste, you abandon it and acquire sweet taste, right? And the small size, you abandon it, acquire big size, like this. Then if this is the change which is required, the change which is very different required, which was there first, that it assumes a different essence. If this seed assumes a very different essence later on during the results instead, how could it referring to the nature of the seed? The nature of the seed, how could the nature of the seed then be the nature of that referring to the sprout? Right? It cannot, the two cannot have the same nature. 11. If you assert, okay, Dibishla, this is a translation. Yeah, we have to change the translation. You're noting them now? Good. 11. If as you assert, the seed and the sprout associated with it are not different. Okay, if you insist that no, the seed of the nature of the seed and the nature of the sprout, these two are not different, right? If you assert that the seed and the sprout associated with it are not different. Oh, by the way, seed and the sprout, are they the nature? Are they one or different? They're different.
Neither.
Huh?
Neither. Not different, not same.
I
not
see.
Honestly, not both.
Okay. Seed and the sprout, these two exist simultaneously? No. These two are cause effect? Cause effect means these two are not simultaneously there. Right? So the farmer may be say the what, drying the seeds, apple seeds underneath the apple tree. Right? He must be very feeling hot under the scorching sun, so taking shelter under the apple tree, right? And drying the apple seeds. So the apple seeds and the apple tree exist together. Yes? So some are very stubborn. I give this analogy. Under the apple tree, drying the apple seed, I've given the simultaneously happening and still saying that no, they don't exist simultaneously. Right? Okay. Apple seeds being dried, are they being dried under the apple tree? Right? So these two exist simultaneously? Yes, these two exist simultaneously, right? Okay. If you say no, then for sure that people will say that in future don't do Nandana Master's course. Right? They will teach you, Nandana Master's course will teach you that in cause and effect, visible, something which is obvious, they will teach you how to be very stubborn to reject it. Right? Okay. So don't say that. So these two things exist simultaneously. The apple tree and the apple seeds exist simultaneously, yes? So the cause and effect exist simultaneously. No? How no? You know, raise your hands. Yes, Madhuji.
It's like smoke and fire. Because smoke and fire.
Yes,
You
yes.
might see them together, but it's not necessary that. But they're cause and effect.
Okay, smoke and fire, these two are cause and effect. And these two, we can also see them together. So which means that cause and effect can be together. Okay.
What?
Okay. Cause and effect together or not together? Minugal, you want to say something? Give his hand. Previous question, yes, yes.
I just wanted to say because these seeds are not the cause of that tree.
Wonderful. Okay. So these seeds which are being dried are not the cause of the apple tree, the growing there, right? Okay, wonderful. Okay. Okay. so this apple tree is the cause of the apple seeds, right? Apple tree is the cause of the apple seeds being dried underneath that.
Maybe.
Maybe, or can be.
Yeah, it can be.
Can be. If can be, seeds and the cause and effect can be together. Can be together. You are Prasangika, you are not Vaibhashika, right? Vaibhashika accepts cause and effect, simultaneity of cause and effect is accepted by Vaibhashika and also by Chittamatra to some extent. Right? Prasangika never accepts cause and effect to be together, right? Okay, so the apple tree, which is giving shelter to you who is drying the apple seeds underneath. Okay, these apple seeds and the apple tree, shelter, giving the shelter, these two are can be cause and effect? Never. Okay, so this apple tree is helping the farmer, who is underneath, taking shelter underneath. Help means it is the cause to give comfort to the farmer, and the farmer is helping the seeds to dry. So the apple tree is helping the farmer is helping the apple seeds, so the apple tree is indirectly helping the seeds underneath being dried, right? Right? So therefore, okay, so if this is cause and effect, causes, there are two, direct causes and the indirect causes. They are both the causes, right? Okay, if that is the case, then the tree, apple tree, which is simultaneously with the apple seeds being dried under this, so these two are cause and effect, right? That apple tree is the cause, and the apple seeds being dried underneath, they are the effects. So the cause and effect, they exist simultaneously. No? How not? Teja, do you want to give answer?
I don't understand the question.
Huh?
What is the cause?
Okay, here is very different. Usually the seeds are the causes and the shoots or the trees, we say the effects. Now here we see that the tree, apple tree visible, that is the one which helps the farmer who's taking shelter under this. Which means this tree is the cause for the happiness of the farmer and who is taking shelter under the tree. And this farmer is helping the seeds to dry. You're getting it? So that the seeds, the drying of the seeds there, what is happening there is because of the farmer. Farmer in turn is able to do that because of the tree, right? So the tree is the cause, and the seeds being dried underneath this tree are the results. Yes? Yes, Kumudla?
The tree could be the condition, but not the cause.
Okay,
For
keep this in mind. You are in Prasangika, right? Condition and cause, these two are synonymous. Don't forget it.
so in that
What is a
case-
cause is condition. What is a condition is also cause. And we will learn more detail on this. What are classifications of conditions and classifications of the cause. This we will learn later, right? So these two are synonymous according to Prasangika.
So in that case, may I argue that the seeds which are drying under the tree are not resulting from the seeds which are within the apples which are hanging on the tree?
This is not my question. My question is apple tree. Apple tree, say you are the farmer who's drying the apple seeds. And you are sitting where? Underneath the apple tree. So that tree under which you are sitting and these apple seeds which you are drying, right? So are these two simultaneous or not?
physically,
Physically, yes. Simultaneous or not?
they're existing simultaneously.
Exactly. If they exist simultaneously, these two cannot be cause and effect. Because cause and effect should be always sequential. Prasangika. Right? So if these two cannot be cause and effect, but what I'm saying is that this tree is giving shelter to you underneath this. So that tree is the cause for your comfort. And you are the cause for these seeds drying up of these seeds. You getting it? So that tree serves as indirect cause for the drying up of the seeds underneath that. So indirect cause is a cause, is a form of cause. You getting it? So therefore, these two things, the tree and the seeds underneath that, are these two cause and effect or not? Is my question. Okay, if I explained this already, right? Okay, Angitla, yes.
Actually, if we take let's consider 3 moments of time. Okay. First moment, second moment, third moment. Then
Yes.
the tree and the bark and seed all are existing. Now, the first moment of tree will be the cause for helping the second moment of farmer. Giving birth to the second moment of the farmer. And then farmer, second moment of the farmer will be helping the third moment of the seed. So the third moment of existing of the seed and the farmer and the tree, though they are simultaneous, they are not.
Wait, which one?
Third moment of the tree,
Third moment of the tree.
the farmer and the seed.
Okay, third moment of the tree, third moment of the farmer, third moment of the seed. All these three are simultaneous.
They are not causing effect.
They are not cause and effect, yes.
The third moment of the seed, it was helped by the second moment of the farmer, which is gone. And the second moment of the farmer was helped by the first moment of the tree, which is gone.
Okay. Did you follow what Ankitji is saying? Right? Okay. So Ankitji is saying is that, say the 3 moments of the tree, 3 moments of you as the farmer underneath the tree, 3 moments of the seed being dried. Right? Okay. Say the 3 moments, moment A, B, C. Moment A of the tree, moment A of you, moment A of the seeds underneath, they are all simultaneous. Moment likewise, all the 3 B's, all the 3 C's are simultaneous. So, moment A of the tree is helping moment B of you, not moment A of you. Moment A of you and moment A of the tree, these two are simultaneous. So what is simultaneous cannot help each other. So moment A of the tree will help the moment B of you, not the A. A moment B of you can help the moment C of this seed. Right? So this is how we see a tree helping the farmer, helping these seeds to be dried. Right? Okay, so this is fine. But my question still remains. My question is that this tree, is it helping the farmer or not?
Yeah.
Farmer, recipient farmer, is he or is she helping the seeds from seeds to be dried? Yes, no. If yes, then the tree is helping the seeds to be dried. If it is helping, then these two are cause and effect. If this cause and effect, then the tree and the seeds underneath the tree should not be existing simultaneously. So, do these 3 things exist simultaneously or not? This is my question.
As cause.
So I guess in a more everyday language, which is not logically or politically correct, we say that yes, they exist simultaneously. No, they exist simultaneously, yes, but the cause and effect relation you are making, what Ankitla said, is more precise in terms of logic, but not in the way you are positing cause and effect by saying they are simultaneous.
Okay. Okay, so these three things are simultaneous. Yes? Whether from pure philosophy or from the mundane, whatever you give the answer according to your taste or your thoughts, right? Are these three things simultaneous or not? Yes. If these things are simultaneous, what are the three things? The tree, the person, and the seeds being dried underneath the tree. These things are simultaneous. If these three things are simultaneous, then are these three causally connected? Not causally connected. So the tree is not helping the farmer? If it helps, causally connected. Not helping. Okay, the tree, is the tree helping the farmer or not? Okay, so the point is, see how much we can conform to the conventionality. But as what Tejala said, it is not necessary that we should be 100% always conform to the conventionality. It's not necessary all the time, but as much as you can, stay in conformity with the conventional acceptance. Say the tree, that tree, not just all tree in general, that tree is simultaneous with that farmer and those seeds underneath, simultaneous. And that tree is helping the farmer? Yes. The farmer is helping the seeds underneath? Yes. Right? Okay, so try to maintain conformity with the conventional acceptance as much as you can. And then, say the rejections will come, only then you will learn to see the same thing from a very nuanced, from a very subtle standpoint of view. You will learn how to, defend a position, not only defend a position, but your mind will acquire the skill to see the nuances. Right? Okay, so this, I would say that, first keep in mind, this is a very general question. This is about the same thing, the fire and the smoke, these two are causally connected, and but the fire and the smoke, we also see them simultaneously, right? Okay. So one would say, fire and smoke, are these two simultaneous? No. Can they exist simultaneously? Yes. You're getting it? There's a slight difference. They can exist simultaneously, but they are not simultaneous. You're getting it? Likewise, say the tree, the person, and the seeds underneath. They can exist simultaneously, right? The one which is helping the causal factors, the causally related three things cannot exist simultaneously, but the three things can exist simultaneously. You're getting it? So just look for ways and means to defend the position. In the process, you're learning. Your mind is becoming sharp to see the minute details, and your mind will become very agile to go into these, to see the nuanced version of the reality. Okay, now going back to the main point. 11. If, as we assert, the seed and the sprout associated with it are not different, either just like seed, what is termed the sprout would never be perceived, or since the two would be identical, just like the sprout, the seed too would be perceptible, so this thesis is unacceptable. So, okay, say the seed and the sprout, seed and sprout, or two of which are causally connected. At the time of the seed, sprout is missing. When the sprout arises, the seed is gone. You agree with me? Okay. If there's a production if these two are the same nature, Meaning that if these two exist as of the same nature, and if there's a self-production, production from itself, then what is produced and what produced, these two should be same. If these two should be same, then at the time of seed, right? The shoot which is non-existent, should be existent, should be visible at the time of the seed. And then at the time of the shoot, the seed should be non-existent. Again, the seed should be existent at the time of the shoot, right? And the seed should be perceptible at the time of the shoot. So it says, either just like the seed, what is termed the sprout, would never be perceived at the time of the seed. The reality is that the seed is perceptible and the shoot is not perceptible. And just as the shoot is not perceptible at the time of just as the shoot is not perceptible at the time of seed, the seed should also not perceptible at the time of seed. Because seed and shoot, these two are of the same nature. Right? At the time of the seed, just as the sprout is not perceptible, even the seed should not be perceptible if there's self-production. Likewise, at the time of the sprout, just as the sprout is perceptible, the seed should be also perceptible at the time of this sprout. At the time of the sprout, the seed is perceptible or not? No. So she should be perceptible if there's the self-production. Right? Okay. Stanza 11. As to assert what we already read, the seed and the sprout associated with it are not different. Either just like the seed, what is termed the sprout would never be perceived. Just like the seed, what is termed the sprout, at the time of the sprout, just as the seed is not perceptible, the sprout should also be non-perceptible. Or since the two would be identical, just like the sprout, the seed too would be perceptible, so this thesis is unacceptable. Say, just as the sprout is perceptible, the seed should be also perceptible. Or just as the seed is not perceptible at the time of the sprout should not be perceptible. Okay, tell me, at the time of the sprout, what is perceptible? Sprout. What is not perceptible? Seed. Just as seed is not perceptible, even the sprout should be not perceptible if there is self-production. And what is perceptible? The sprout. Just as sprout is perceptible, even the seed which should be non-perceptible should become perceptible if there's a self-production. You getting it? Okay. So this is not difficult. The thing is, say, our mind should be trained in this form of thinking. Right? That is important. Okay. 12. Because its effect can be seen even when the cause has disappeared. That the two identical is something not even the world accepts. Okay, so thus far, up to stanza 11, what is being rejected is the production of the self by means of reasoning. So what we have learned is that Acharya Chandrakirti, how he was rejecting all these things, not just the self-production, production of another, production from both, process production, likewise rejecting the selfhood of the person, the seven modes, rejecting anything, Acharya Chandrakirti is doing that in two ways. One, pointing to the absurdity that what is to be rejected, if you accept it, it contradicts the reasoning. One. Number two, it contradicts the conventional norms or conventional acceptance. Two things. So up to stanza 11, the rejection by means of reasoning is done. Now 12 is rejection by means of pointing to the contradiction with the conventional acceptance. Conventionally, right? Such a production from self cannot be accepted. How? It says, because its effect can be seen even when the cause has disappeared. So during the sprout, the the cause is not there, but the effect of the cause is visible. Is visible, is functional there, but the cause is not visible, is not functional at the time of the effect. So, at the time of the sprout, effect is visible, but the cause is not visible, seed is not visible. So, we see that even the conventional farmers, they come to realize, they know that at the time of the shoot, the effect is there, effect is visible, effect is functional. Whereas, the seed is not visible, seed is not functional. One is visible, functional, one is not visible, not functional. If that is the case, these two cannot be the same. These two should be different. So, from whose point of view? From the conventional world's point of view. From the conventional world's point of view, these two are very different, right? If you say that, okay, so I'll bring you, okay, let's say that I will introduce you to a shopkeeper. You'll do, say, you're coming to Delhi for the first time, and then I'll introduce you to a shopkeeper who's right next to you, and he is very kind, exceptionally kind, right? Okay. The next day, you're so happy, you went there, and then you ask for, say, what is this biscuit? No? Good day biscuit. Let's say good day biscuit, a small packet, 20 rupees. And you know the price. Oh, I need a good day biscuit. And he gave you this one. And then how much should I pay? 100 rupees. It's just 20 rupees. You know it so well. You just go to the next shop, you'll get it for 20 rupees. And he's the one who I introduced to you as very kind, honest person, right? Okay, now, is he kind? Is the shopkeeper kind to you? Hey, don't think that you're bodhisattvas. Be an ordinary person. Tell me, is he kind? No, right? No. So which means that the fact, what I said, it goes against the conventional acceptance of kindness, right? You may think that he wants to teach you bodhicitta, right? For bodhicitta, you need to practice compassion for everybody, so you need somebody, who makes you irritated. So deliberately he is doing that. You could say like this, but according to conventional norms, the world, that person is not kind. So what I said goes against the conventional acceptance as what is the norm of the kindness. Okay, so these conventional speaking, these two are one, these two are different. That is determined on what basis? Conventional people, no philosophy, right? Ordinary people, farmers. The farmers, okay, the farmer thinks that he plants say rice seed, and then what comes out was wheat. Then what will the farmer think? You'll be surprised, right? Farmer will be surprised because these two are not same, these two are different. Likewise, say the effect and the seed. When the effect is there, the seed is not there. When the seed is there, the effect is not there. So which means that these two are very different. These two are not same. This is how the ordinary farmers, ordinary conventional world will accept. So therefore, accepting self-reduction is against the acceptance of the conventional world. Okay, let me read this once more. Stanza 12. Because is effect, the results can be seen even when the cause has disappeared. Meaning that when the seed has disappeared, the shoot comes out. When you see that conventional world, that the two are identical is something not even the world accepts. World meaning conventional world accepts. So this postulate of thing arising from itself is untenable, both from the perspective of reality and from the point of view of the conventional world, right? So the production of itself is rejected. Okay, Now stanza 13. Okay, stanza up to 12 is the reasoning brought by Acharya Chandragiri himself. Now stanza 13 is the reasoning brought from Aranyagarjuna. Okay, so it says, if one, stanza 13, the reasoning that we find in stanza 13 is brought from Acharya Aranyagarjuna's Mulamadhyamaya Karika. Stanza 13, if one asserts self-arising, the producer and the produced should be the same, as well as the act and the agent should be identical. Since they are obviously not identical, one should not accept self-arising, for it entails all the faults exposed extensively in the fundamental wisdom meaning, Aranyagarjuna's Mulamadhyamaya Karika. Okay, so Aranyagarjuna, in his book, Mulamadhyamaya Karika, they say the producer and the produced. Producer and produce, he extensively rejected them to be the same, saying that if these two are the same, there's a problem. If these two are different, there's a problem, right? So he rejected these two to be the same. The producer, the seed, and the produced, the shoot, to be the same is what Aranyagarjuna rejected. And then also the act and the agent. Okay. 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 As well as act. Under the act, you don't delete this. You give an option, the object. Okay, this word. In Tibetan, it is le. In fact, it is le su chawa. Le su chawa is the Tibetan word. Le su chawa, le. So this le refers to the object, not to the act. Or we can say the object of the action. So short form, this act, we can say it. But in Tibetan, it is le. Le can refer to both. Le, literally, it means the act. It means the action. But the le, it can be also the short form of le su chawa. Short form, the object on which the action is acted. Object on which the action is acted. Right? This is another meaning of the le. So therefore this act, just don't delete it. Don't delete it, because in the Tibetan, original Tibetan, it is le. So this le can be translated as act, but then we have to know the background, Tibetan, the linguistic. Tibetan linguistic. So from there, it is le su chawa, object on which the action is conducted. Okay. So with this, say, if there's a self-production, then what is produced and what produces, cause and effect, this should be the one, and yet these two cannot be, right? Okay. Then if these two are one, then the produce should be the producer should be the produced, which is totally unacceptable or say untenable. Then another one is saying you engage in the act of generosity. So there should be the agent, you as the agent, who is the benefactor, and the person who receives the benefit, the beneficiary. So we have the benefactor as the agent, beneficiary as the object on which the act of generosity is done. Right? So agent and the object of the action. Right? Object of the action. So if there's self-reduction, then it is like myself being generous to myself. Right? I being the benefactor and the beneficiary. Again, and say for example the teacher and the taught, right? The one who receives the teaching, the one who teaches, and the carpenter, and who the table which is being made by the carpenter. The table, which is the object on which the action of the making table was conducted, and the carpenter is the agent. So the agent and the object upon which the action was done, these two should be same. But it is ridiculous to accept such things. So it says that as well as the act and the agent should be identical. Since they are obviously not identical, one should not accept self-arising. Okay, for it entails all the faults exposed extensively in the fundamental wisdom. Okay, so about the agent and the act, the agent and the object, agent and the object. If there is self-production, then the agent and the object should be one. So this is what Nagarjuna taught in chapter 10. Chapter 10, agent and the object of the action becoming one is taught in chapter 10 of Mula Madhyama Karika, and the cause and effect, that the cause and effect should be becoming one is taught in chapter 18. Okay, now the next. The rejection of arising from another. Rejection of arising from another, the second alternative. Okay, so it says now precisely the Buddhist philosophers, except for Prasangika. Buddhist philosophers, except for Prasangika, what they say is that thus far the acceptance of self-production was rejected by the reasonings, and also showing that it is incompatible with the conventional acceptance. One, because the production from the self is rejected, automatically the production from both can be rejected. Both meaning self and from another. So once one part is missing, the totality of the production self and both can be rejected. And production from, the third choice? Causeless production. Causeless production is something which is so ridiculous, right? You have to say that to become very knowledgeable, even without learning anything, you can become very knowledgeable. Even without putting any effort, you'll become rich, right? Without any causes, randomly you can get the results. So this is totally ridiculous from the point of view of reasoning as well as from the point of view of the conventional acceptance, right? Okay, so therefore, now what is the choice? What is the choice left? Only choice left is production from another. Therefore, somebody to accept production now the Buddhist philosophers, except for Prasangika, what they are saying, if you are to, by rejecting the three options, three modes, production from self, production from both, production from the causeless production, rejecting these three modes by default. If you accept production, by default you have to accept production from another. So this is what is accepted by the Buddhist philosophers, except for Prasangika. You getting it? Okay. 14. Now this is what Acharya Chandrakirti is rejecting. Even that is not valid. It is not necessary that if you accept production and reject the other three possibilities, the possible modes, then you have to the indispensably, or you have to accept on the production from another. So this is something which is not acceptable. 14. If in dependence upon another, an entirely different entity arises, then pitch black darkness should arise from fire. In fact, anything could originate from anything. This is so because even all non-causes are equal in being different from that effect. Okay, now what is if you could remember the question asked by Lokeshi, right? So don't forget that part. You remember that question? Anyone who remember? Maybe Lokeshi, he must have forgotten the question himself. I don't know. Okay, including Lokeshi, is there anyone who could remember the question? Lokeshi, you remember the question? Yes, please ask me.
When we constitute the syllogism of first having the 4 signs and then each sign broken into 4. So
okay, let's say the main syllogism and the 4 secondary syllogisms, right? Main syllogism meaning the sprout is the subject. It is empty of inherent production because it is not produced from self, another, both, and causelessly. For example, like an illusion, like a magical illusion of a person. Right? Okay, this is main syllogism. And the 4 secondary syllogisms to prove the what property of the subject, the first mode. Right? And so okay, if you miss those points, then we cannot go beyond that point. So for the main syllogism to prove it correct or to get it correct, we have to have the 3 modes. The first mode is property of the subject. And for the property of the subject, which means that you have to understand that the topic qualifies the sign, which means the shoot. The shoot is empty of self-production, production of another, both, and causeless production. 4. So we have to prove each of these 4. So each of these 4 they turn out to be the 4 secondary syllogisms to prove the first mode of the first out of the 3 modes of the main syllogism. You getting it? Okay, now
of those, the second one, production from another, the argument
rejecting the production from another.
Rejecting the production from another assumes that we already understand the subjective and objective difference of the another. We already have realized the emptiness of another.
Emptiness of production from another. We have already realized that.
And to use that emptiness to prove emptiness again, that sounds illogical.
If you already realize that, you've already realized emptiness. If you already realize emptiness, then the purpose of the main syllogism, the main thesis is yet to be realized. Even before the thesis of the main syllogism is realized, you have already realized emptiness. Right? So there's a discrepancy there, right?
It's not logically correct.
It's not logically correct, right? Okay. So what's the question? So how do we reconcile this?
So how do we reconcile this?
Okay, this question, right? Don't forget this question. This is, in other words, emptiness of production from another. Is that emptiness? You getting it? Say we can speak about, okay, simply because somebody uses the word emptiness, don't jump to mean that, or don't jump to see that word to mean the ultimate reality, emptiness in the context of ultimate reality. Let's say that, okay, this flower is empty of objective existence. This flower is empty of a tiger. Okay, why In what way you are talking about that this flower is empty of the objective existence? What made you to say that? Because this flower does not exist objectively. Likewise, is this flower empty of being a tiger? Yes. How? Because it is not a tiger. You getting it? Okay, so the objects, the flowers being empty, the emptiness of the tiger of the flower. The flower's emptiness of the tiger. You getting it? So is it the understanding of emptiness in the ultimate sense? No, in the sense of ultimate truth? No. How not? Because this flower being empty of tiger is very easy to understand. It does not require any philosophical understanding. You getting it? So simply because the word the emptiness is there does not mean that you have to understand, you have to take that to mean the emptiness in the form of ultimate reality. You getting it? Okay. Likewise, emptiness of production from another. Emptiness of production from another. Whether or not this is emptiness. If it is emptiness in the context of the ultimate reality, then when you understand the property of the subject, the first mode, you've already understood emptiness. If you have understood the emptiness, then there's no point in establishing the main thesis, the thesis of the main syllogism. You're getting it? So how do you reconcile this question? Okay, this is a very important question. Don't forget it. You're getting it? So meanwhile, first we have to get some structure. Otherwise we will never get there, right? But don't forget this question. Ultimately, this question must be resolved. This is a very important question, right? Okay, so now let's say that the seed is produced from the sprout. Yes, no? Oh, the sprout is produced from the seed. Hey, which is correct? The sprout is produced from the seed. Okay, now the sprout is produced from the seed. Okay, you are Prasangika, I am Swatantra Madhyamika. So, okay, tell me, do we agree that the sprout is produced from the seed? Hey, what happened? Your computer hangs, or you are into the ultimate reality now? Okay, tell me, right? Tell me. You are Prasangika, I'm Swatantra Madhyamika. Do we agree that the sprout arises from the seed? Yes. Okay. The sprout arises from the seed. Sprout is produced by the seed. Fine. Sprout and seed, are these two different or these two are one? These two are different. Okay, that's fine. I also accept it, you also accept it. Sprout and the seed, these two are objectively different or objectively the same? Huh? Hey, the sprout and the you are Prasangika, right? The sprout and the seed, these two are objectively different or objectively the same? Huh? Neither. Just say neither. Very good. Okay, which means that these two are not objectively different. If these two are not objectively different, these two are not independently different. If these two are objectively different, these two should be independently different. If the sprout and the seed, if these two are objectively different or inherently different, these two should be independently different. Yes, no. If these two are independently different or objectively different, these two being different should be independent of your mind. The two being different should be independent of your subjective mind. Okay. If these two should be different, independent of your subjective mind, then these two should be different from the object. 100% from the object, right? Okay, if these two are 100% different, being different, 100% from the object, these two should be two independent entities. If these two should be two independent entities, these two should not be related. If these two are not related, then the sprout should be given rise to by a seed which is unrelated to the sprout. If this is all if, right? If the sprout is given rise to by unrelated seed, then the sprout can be given rise to by anything, right? Whether related, unrelated. If unrelated things can be given rise to the sprout, but not the related and all unrelated things as well. If that is the case, then the darkness, right? Darkness as the cause can give rise to the light, because these two are not related, right? Unrelated. Usually the light should give rise to by the candle, the source of the light. Why? These two should be related. But now we are accepting, we meaning people who accept the objective existence or production from another, they accept independent existence or objective existence. Then they have to accept that the results can be given rise to by any object, whether related or unrelated, right? Then the apple fruits can be given rise to by the mango seeds also. Mango seeds and apple fruit, they are not related, right? Then the darkness can be given rise to by the light. Light can be given rise to by the darkness, right? By lighting the candle, it should become dark. Okay, so these contradictions happen if you accept production from another, right? Okay, let's see. Stanza 14. If in dependence upon another, an entirely different entity arises. Entirely different meaning independent. Another object which is independent of the result, and it arises, then pitch black darkness should arise from fire. Okay, if what is given rise to and what gives rise to, right? These two are objectively real. If these two are objectively different, if these two are objectively different, these two should be, being different should be independent of a subjective mind, right? And then in which case these two should become totally independent from each other. For example, let's say the flower and the color of the flower. Are these two one or different? Entity-wise? One. Okay. And isolated-wise? Different. The color of the flower and this flower, these two are different. What is isolated-wise different is what we call as different. Isolated-wise different and different, these two are synonymous. Okay. The flower and the color of the flower, these two are different or one? Entity-wise? Isolated-wise? This flower and you, these two entity-wise one or different? Isolated-wise? What do you say? Hey, this flower and the color of the flower and the color of this flower, entity-wise one or different? Isolated-wise one or different? Okay, this flower and you, isolated-wise one or different? Entity-wise? Wow, that means very confident. Okay, now let's say this flower and the color of the flower, these two are isolated-wise different. What do you mean by isolated-wise different? Hey, how these two things appear to a mind? These two appear as different to a conceptual mind. To a conceptual mind, isolated means you have to go to the subject, particularly the conceptual mind. In a conceptual mind, these two appear as different. You getting it? Okay. So now, isolated was different and different, these two are synonymous. So the flower and the color of the flower, are these two isolated different? These two different or these two are one? Different. Very good. Okay. Now when you say these two are different, if these two becoming different, if these two being different is objectively different, the two being different, the flower and the color of the flower, if these two are inherently different, which means that the difference should be from the object, not from the subject. If from the object these two should be different, then these two should become entity-wise different. And these two are simultaneous?
Yes.
Yes. So these two should be like two unrelated things. Right? Likewise, the seed and the sprout, if these two are entity-wise, no, the inherently different. The sprout, if you accept that to be produced from another, you're in a way accepting that to be produced from objectively another, which means you're accepting that the sprout and the seed, these two are objectively another, objectively different. If it is objectively different, the fact that these two are different should be independent of your subjective mind. The fact that these two are different should be from the object. If things are different from the object, independent from mind, these two should become independent from each other. If these two become independent, then the flower, the sprout and the seed, these two are not related. If these two are not related, still the seed giving rise to this sprout means that all unrelated things should be able to give rise to the sprout. Likewise, all unrelated things should be given rise to the darkness. So the light is unrelated to the darkness, even the light should give rise to the darkness. Okay, this is the rejection in general, right? Production from another, the detailed rejection, the most. In fact, the surface of phenomena, explaining the surface of phenomena, almost like 80% of the whole thing, rejection of establishing the surface of phenomena, is dedicated on rejecting the production from another. Right? This is the most important thing, most difficult part and most important thing. Okay. Stanza 14 once more. Page 15, stanza 14. If in dependence upon another, an entirely different entity arises, that is in relation to what? Production from another, production from objectively another. Okay. Then pitch black darkness should arise from fire. In fact, anything could originate from anything, whether related or unrelated. This is so because even all non-causes are equal in being different from their effect. Okay. Now the opponents. Okay, now the opponents. What the opponents would say. Here's your live question. Yes, ask. Huh? I think that's good. We can have, say, a few questions now. Yep. Yes.
Based on Lokeshji's question. So if we are saying that seeing the emptiness of production from another does not equal emptiness, and within that we are saying
it is not emptiness. It is not emptiness in the context of the ultimate reality.
So in that syllogism, we are getting the understanding that the shoot is not produced from an objectively existent. No, the shoot is not inherently produced from an objectively existent number.
Yes.
So even the main syllogism is saying the emptiness of inherent production,
yes.
And from that Acharya Chandrakirti is saying you will implicitly understand the emptiness of objective existence.
Say it again.
Even the main
with the main syllogism, thesis of the main syllogism, when you establish this.
So even in that, only explicitly what is being established is emptiness of inherent production.
Yes.
And implicitly from that we are going to understand.
Not implicitly. Explicitly, you understand emptiness of objective existence. Okay, you are getting mixed somewhere, I can see that. So in the text, in the commentary, it read that production from, say, anywhere, anything, right? So that is not to be related to the objectively production. It should be related to the production from oneself, production from another, right? So this is how the presentation was made. In terms of the understanding, right? In terms of understanding, say, when you understand, say, in other words, in the presentation, it says nothing, or there isn't anything anywhere arising, anything anywhere the arising objectively or produced objectively. This is one way of saying this. And Acharya Chand, the author, Lama Tsongkhapa, commentator, is saying that this is not how we read the text. It's just how we read the text, right? How we read the text, how we should attach this part, the statement, anything, anywhere is produced. So this should not be attached to just produce. It should be attached to each of the four rejections, right? And the reason is that once you know that none of these four rejections, none of these four modes of production is possible anywhere, anytime, right? This will automatically imply, this presentation implies that, okay, in a way, Nagarjuna is saying that there is no objectively existent production. You get, this is where the presentation. Now, in terms of the understanding, right? In terms of your understanding, somebody who understands the emptiness of objective production, already you understand, explicitly you understand emptiness. You getting it? Okay, now the point is, another thing that I'm seeing in your question is with the production, emptiness of objective production from another. So there, emptiness of objective production, right? Okay, so this, to be politically correct, more correct way of saying, not to bring confusion, would be emptiness, sprout is empty of being produced from objectively existent another, rather than sprout is empty of objective production from another. There are two ways of presenting it. Emptiness of objective production from another, emptiness of production from objectively existent another. Two. Of the two, the second would be a better way of wording. Right? Otherwise, both are correct.
If both are correct, and in the first one, when you say emptiness of objective production from another, why should I not at this point also explicitly understand
Emptiness. Okay, so this one, it is English language, right? But whichever way you put, you have to understand what? Emptiness of production from objectively existing another. If you understand this, right, whatever wordings that you may put, it doesn't matter. You've understood the emptiness of objective production of another, from another, or you have understood the emptiness of the production from objectively existing another. You've understood both, right? It's a matter of just the wordings.
And this will, because the main syllogism also is,
Because the main syllogism also says emptiness of objective production.
This is what I'm saying, is the language thing. You're getting it?
So why with the main syllogism we should explicitly understand emptiness?
There is no why. That the point is same with the main syllogism, right? You have to understand the emptiness of objectivity. emptiness of objectivity is the main thesis. You have to understand it. Emptiness of objective existence. You getting it? Now, emptiness of objective existence of a flower, emptiness of objective existence of a production, whatever you may call it, right? You do it one way. So in other words, so there, even if you use the same vocabulary, but if you understand much grosser than this, then you have not understood the thesis of the main syllogism, right? So the main syllogism, so therefore we should not be too rigid with the vocabularies, right? Don't be too lenient with the vocabularies, otherwise you may start calling the flower a chocolate, right? It end up in problem, right? Okay, so the point is that we should be a little flexible. You should know what I should be understanding by this thesis, this vocabulary used in the thesis. So there, what I should be understanding is that the production does not exist objectively. You getting it? With the four secondary syllogisms, the second of the four secondary syllogisms, emptiness of objective production from another, you call it like this, or emptiness of production from objectively existing another, whichever you may call it, whichever you may state it, is fine. Is there, what you should understand is that objectively existent another is not possible, right? And a production from such a thing, objectively existent another, is not. But if you understand this, then whatever vocabulary that you use is fine. You have understood you have got the thesis of the second syllogism of the four. You're getting it? So we should be not too rigid with the vocabularies. You're getting it? Okay, but where the vocabularies are very precisely set in the very standard, you are not to, go beyond that, or you are not to, be overly lenient. Then you will mess up. You will never get the intended, the point. Okay, yes, Lokeshla?
Lokeshla, I have questions about arising from itself, but I'll skip that. I think the time is less. But I have a question about stanza 14, which is about arising from another. How is it that the rejection of relatedness here, or rejection of relatedness between the sprout and the seed, or the assertion of independence of these two?
The relatedness is not rejected. Objective relatedness is rejected.
Okay. How does that sufficiently reject the cause-effect relation between the two?
Cause and effect relation can never be rejected. Cause and effect relationship in cause and effect, causal relationship in cause and effect can never be rejected. Nobody can reject it, but can lead or can point to the absurdity. The same, if you say that the same elephant, I always carry the elephant in my pocket, right? I can say that if this is the case, then the elephant cannot be the biggest mammal on the earth today. Maybe the whales are there, right? Is not one of the biggest mammals on this earth today. It is not a true statement. It is one of the biggest mammals on the earth today, right? But if you say that I carry elephant in my pocket all the time, if this is the case, then you are led to the absurdity that you have to accept that the elephant is not one of the biggest the mammals of this earth. So likewise, if you accept production from another, production from objectively existing another, then this will lead us to the absurdity. Not that you have to accept, or not that we have to accept, right? That you lead to the absurdity, in which case you have to, there's no choice other than to say that cause and effect, these two are unrelated. If you ask this question to me, cause and effect, are these two related? I would say yes, of course, this is rooted. Then why are we saying this? It's absurdity that we have to accept, given that you have accepted something wrong. You have accepted production from another. Right? Okay, seems like Dipesh, you have a question?
I just did a request, Krishna. 2.5 month break is coming up.
Yes.
So if you can just give, few people have asked me some advice from you for the long break. So if you can just give some advice for 2.5 month break. Today is the
Okay,
last
this is a good point. So how should we be spending time on the next 2.5 months break? Okay, what I would say is that what we studied from chapter, say this semester, chapter 6, and also the important parts from chapter 1, which we also covered. If you can revisit the recordings, teaching recordings, and to the best you can relate the teachings to the root text 1, and then still, if you still get some time, I would ask you to go revisit the 10 systems, right? And going through these things and already having been through 10 systems, you revisiting 10 systems will make the understanding very clear, and this will prepare us to explore the following the stanzas from chapter 6. Okay, these two are the most important thing, and of course, all of us, particularly those of us who are already introduced to emptiness, meditation emptiness, and I would suggest that we try to create your own, design your own personal practice on emptiness, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, right? And see if you can do it on a daily basis. For that matter, we have the recordings available of the guided meditation emptiness. More detailed versions available from there. See how to make it short, and eventually everyone is expected to make it just on your fingertips, as to if you are to meditate on emptiness for like 5 minutes, how are you going to condense it? If you are going to meditate for like half an hour, how are you going to make it more elaborate? Because sometimes the meditation emptiness, even if you have so much enthusiasm when you should meditate it, if the system that you've designed, if the structure that you've designed is not so effective, then at times we can become very hazy in a meditation, may not be so clear, and then headaches can happen, right? And the lethargy can come to you. These are the things. So therefore, it would be good to have a proper structure on the basis of the sample, the guided meditation emptiness, which we already have available, and the Vishla, you can, if you can summarize all what I said now in the written form, then you can send them to all who are from this part. Okay, yes. Angitla, you have a question? No? Okay, anyone else? Yes, Tejala.
Vishal, Lokeshji's question, does it apply only to the second extreme production mode, or does it apply to all four?
Not all four, only the second. With the first one everybody rejects. Everybody, meaning all Buddhist schools, can easily reject production from the self, right? Because, say, production from self, when you accept that the cause and effect are never the same, to know that the cause and effect are never the same, right? Cause and effect are never the same. To know this, it is not necessary that we have to understand emptiness. This is what all the Buddhist philosophers know. Production, there's no production from self. Then production from both, naturally. If you reject production from self, production from both is easily rejected. And the causeless production is easiest to be rejected, right? So for that matter, the three things. In other words, to reject these three the extremes, one does not have to follow Prasangika philosophy. To reject the production from another, one has to follow Prasangika philosophy. Without following Prasangika philosophy, you cannot possibly reject the production from another. Yet, rejecting production from another does not entail understanding emptiness. Don't forget it. Yeah. Okay, so we will, yes?
Can we just to add to the answer you just gave, that rejection of production from self, we don't have to say even ultimately, even conventionally it can be rejected.
Yes, by all the Buddhist schools.
Yeah.
Yes.
Production from another is probably necessary when we can say not objectively
Okay,
like that.
but I want to keep this in mind. As I said earlier, Acharya Chandragupta is very particular. He did not qualify the rejection of the foremost production. He did not qualify them with the ultimate. Right? It is only Acharya Bhaviveka, Svatandra Madhyamika, who have to qualify these four rejections with the ultimately. If you don't do that, then the four cannot be rejected fully. Yeah. This is what we have to keep in mind. And in this connection, I did mention earlier that Acharya Bhaviveka had to, Svatandra Madhyamika had to add this, qualify this rejection production from another by saying there's no ultimate production from another. Ultimate production, right? So now Acharya Chandragupta, he's not adding anything, but at the same time, what we could learn is that he's saying that another is not just another in the conventional sense, how the ordinary people understand it. This another should be objectively another. So now the question is, if that is the case, you're qualifying this with objectively another, objective another. If you qualify it with this, then what's the difference with qualifying that with the ultimate another, ultimately another, or the ultimate another? What's the difference? Okay, so the answer is there is a difference. There's a difference, right? Right? So where, even without qualifying, say directly, it is not produced from another. This is how we can effectively reject it, right? Not without qualifying. And so there, of course, the objectively another, objectively, that is already qualified implicitly, right? So there's a difference when that is qualified with the objectively versus when that is qualified by ultimately. There's a difference, right? So what is that difference? That is what we will explore. Superficially, these two become the same, but there's a difference, right? When I say there's no production from another, this can be rejected only if you reject production from objectively existing another, right? So therefore these two, production from another and production from objectively another, these two mean the same. Now the question is, in what way then it is not same with production from ultimately another, right? So these questions will come up. We have to keep exploring them. Okay, so we have, say, very, very many important things to cover as a part of rejecting production from another, right? So we have to do a lot more. Okay. So meanwhile, I may also suggest that there is a saying in the commentary, as well as in say the ocean reasoning commentary on Mula Madhumai Karika by Lama Tsongkhapa, and then also the third volume of the Great Treatise on the Stages of Path Enlightenment, Great Treatise, third volume, in there, and also in the third volume, which has two parts. This the shamatha practice, single point of meditation, and the wisdom part. There are two sections. The second half, the wisdom part, in there you will see a great deal of discussion and debate between Acharya Bhaviveka, Acharya Buddhapalita, Acharya Bhaviveka, Acharya Chandrakirti. So this discussion, the debates happening there in the third volume of Lama Tsongkhapa's Great Treatise on Stages of Path Enlightenment, and also the Ocean Reasoning, Chapter 1. Ocean Reasoning, Chapter 1. In there, this discussion is heavily done there. And then in this book, just a part of the second, the rejection of the production from another. So there, then this dialogue, debate among these three scholars, same scholars, is what you find there. So what I would suggest is you try to read them. Read them, and I'm sure that you will get lost. 99%, if not 100% of you, 99% will get lost. 99% will get that this so dry academic discussion, right? Okay, 100%, I would say that you will come to this conclusion, but still read it, right? And if you get lost, and then you just think that, oh, now what he said is correct, I'm lost, right? At least you read it and try to see, okay, I'm not understanding anything, but what he, in words, what Acharya Buddhapalita said is this, what Acharya Bhaviveka is saying this, what Acharya Chandrakirti is saying this, these are the wordings. At least you have these wordings by heart. That would be a very good foundation for us to follow the next class after 2.5 months. Yeah. Okay. Now we will do a quick direction prayer. Page 278. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful, generously Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Kari Rave Gorve Jingamzo, Penda Dewa Mali Chumbeni, Chere Zemwa Tenzin Gyatso, Shabe Zide Pardo Denguroji. Just as the brave Manjushri and some of the brothers too realize things as they are, also I dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow their perfect example. Jambala Bava Jidara Kemba Dang, Kundo Sambo Tenyan Dejin, Yada Gungi Jesu Dalobje, Gewa Deda Tamje Rabdu. I dedicate all these rules of virtue with the dedication praised at the best by the victorious ones, thus go on at the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. Dezom Jebe Gyawa Tamjege, Mowa Kala Chodo Abadi, Tage Geve Zawa Digunya, Sambo Jeje Rabdu Movaraki. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that is not arisen rise and grow, and may that which is arisen not diminish but increase forevermore. Chanjo Senjo Ryan Boje. Aye Banam Ge Gyoroje, Ge Banya Bamer Baya, Kone Kondo Pe Varaisho, As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into the then enlightened state. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the decent prayers of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times, and to the upholding of the Dharma of teaching and realization. May I in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the mind and vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the 2 stages. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. The power of union of emptiness and compassion is loosely explained by the preserved Buddha, Dhamma, and the beings of the snowland. You are the lotus soul, the Tenzin Gyatso. We supplicate you that you wish us to fulfill spontaneously. Onye Nyenje Zondo Jobelam, Chejere Selse Kanje Dendregun, Chana Bemo Tenzin Gyatso, Soa Denzo Shendo Nundo Sho. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans or non-humans who harbor malice through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of the 3 souls. Malam lobe geve dembala, kuwe na josu jensu mende, samjura nyembe juba manu, chosum dembe zeni juguroji. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stations in the past, may could attain the state of Vajradhara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may always be guided by the Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of dependent origination in particular, even in the course of my life. Okay, one announcement that I'd like to make is you can also inform this to the other participants or your friends, not necessarily the participant of the Master's Course, Nalanda Master's Course International, is that today Venerable Geshe Shtabir Rinpoche is visiting Tibet House this evening, and so maybe today's 20th, 21st, then 22nd or 23rd, not too sure yet. We have to check with Venerable Geshe Shtabir Rinpoche. And say one thought that came to me is say to give a presentation on emptiness in general, emptiness and dependent origination in general. This is one possibility. Another is like a summation of chapter 6 of the entry into the middle way, Madhyamika Avatar. This is another option. Third option is the philosophy of the 4 schools, emptiness, ultimate truth of the 4 schools, Vaibhashika, Sautrantika, Chitmatra, Madhyamika. In fact, in this world today, if somebody's to really replicate the philosopher Aranyaka and all the great masters, then it would be so. Of course, in the monastic universities today, in that there are many. Amongst these, there are only few who are really the giants, the outstanding giants. So Venerable Geshe Shtabir Rinpoche, the one of the top ranking the philosopher today, and say you can see that he's already in his late 80s. Still look at the sharpness of his thinking. It's all because of the inquiry, the meditation, the practice, the studies, and when he was a student himself, very young, he was one of the top the scholars, very refined. So we can hardly find such refined, sane scholars today. So we are so lucky that he's visiting us, the Tibet House here. So I'm going to make the request. So I will leave it up to Venerable Geshe Stabgir Rinpoche to decide which topic he would do. Okay, by the way, amongst the participants here, and I will also request the Bishla and the Tibetan staff to make it available, the live stream. Yeah, so that as many can take part in this, right? We'll also announce this. And so among the here, say, I propose three things. One is about emptiness and dependent origination in general. One. Then number two is the essence of chapter 6. Essence of chapter 6, right? Chapter 6 is a huge task to be done within like 2 hours. And then number 3 is the ultimate reality according to the 4 schools. Right? Okay, so this is, of these 3 options, is there any, say, of course, finally we will leave it to Venerable Geshe Stabgir Rinpoche to decide which would be more relevant for us. So if you have any thoughts, quick, chapter 6, and some of you may be a little concerned about those people who are not taking part in the Narada Master's course, but this Venerable Geshe Stabgir Rinpoche being invited here, invited meaning requesting to give teaching here, so it's open to the public, not only for the Narada Master's course students, open to the public, but still, as the chapter 6, this is also possible because this is what I discussed with Divesh also, that even those people who are not associated with the Narada Master's course, they will also get the opportunity to know what chapter 6 is like. This is a great opportunity for them, and for those people who are taking part in the Narada Master's course, of course, and this will be a great, the eye-opening for us to get a summary, synopsis of what this chapter 6 is all about. Okay, so the rest of these hands, those who will say chapter 6, summary of chapter 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, those who would say the, what do you say? Emptiness and dependent origination in general. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. What is this? Don't raise your hands, those who already raise your hands in. Okay, otherwise we multiple.
They want all.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, raise your hands. You can raise raise your hands in all 3 also. I don't mind. Okay, those who say the emptiness according to ultimate reality, according to the 4 schools. Raise your hands. 1, 2. Okay, this which means the second one, the what? Emptiness and dependent origin in general. Okay, and it was also good to do that in relation to in praise of dependent origination with the text. With the text. And then emptiness and dependent in general, and then related to text, we will have something concrete to take with us. Okay, so this would be the prior reading, and the other 2, chapter 6, and then the 4 schools. Okay, so the prior reading wise, the emptiness and dependent origination in general, then the 4 schools and the ultimate reality, then the chapter 6. So this is going to be the order of the priority, and then we will leave it up to Venerable Geshe Stabgir Rinpoche, right? Okay, so this, I'm not too sure. Okay, let's make it like, tentatively, let's make it 23rd. 24th, Venerable Geshe Stabgir Rinpoche is leaving. So let's tentatively make it 23rd. And so if there is no, say, the other things, obligations, then we can make it 23rd. Stick to 23rd, right? Okay. This is one thing, and then it's open to all, not only to the Narada Master's course, diploma course students, and everyone, open to everyone. Okay, yes, Bishnu.
Krishna, will he be available only to teach one day? Can he teach more than one day?
So the point is, let us keep in mind that he has a long way to travel, and he's already 87 or 88, right? So, okay. Or another possibility would be, because the thing is that if you make it 2 days, less number of hours a day and 2 days, it would be more relaxing for Venerable Geshe Thamgir Rinpoche. But the point is that some people may not be able to attend this second session, right? So therefore, in one session, one day, we can have like 2 sessions. So somebody, if comes, there's a tendency for the person to get whole, complete, right? Yeah.
Well, I was thinking maybe if second day his health and routine allows, then something on Bodhisattva. The Bodhisattva side, compassion side, something he can teach.
Okay, so that we will make the request, right? We'll make the request, yeah. And in fact, health-wise, I'm not too sure. In fact, last year I did not get the opportunity to see him. Last year, and it happened. Oh no. Yes, just one day. Just one day, he came. He arrived, and the next day, so I'm off at the airport. Otherwise, I'm a little concerned with the health. We can make the request. Yeah, we can make the request. Okay, this is tentatively like 80%. Let's say 23rd, right? 23rd. And if the 23rd, if he's busy, then we can move it to 22nd, right? And then if it is possible for 2 days, then 22nd, 23rd. So this we have to make request. Yeah. Okay, yeah. And then inform this to your friends, your friends also. It's not necessary that somebody should be from these 2 courses. Anybody can take part in this.
First half, Krishna, or maybe second half? Evening or morning?
Okay, so basically it's going to be the evenings because it's the weekdays. Because it's weekdays, the likelihood is that people can attend the evenings. So we can make it like 5:30. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, diploma course, we will have it at 3:15. 3:15. Okay, so we all know, the online students also know this. The online students and the regular participants as well. The transcripts. So the transcripts, which are how many volumes available now? 6. 6 volumes available. Okay, we all, both the regular and the online students, we all should be feeling so grateful to Rimala because she has taken the full charge to make sure that these things happen. And yes, a big round of applause. Yes. One, and then say the Rimala being greatly supported by Tibeshla. Yeah, greatly supported by Tibeshla. Yes, and then there are so many people in there actually doing the transcription and then the editing. So many people involved there. We should be feeling grateful to all those whose hands are involved in making the transcripts be possible. And the Tibet House staff, like what the Divish said, Ashokji, has been exceptionally working hard. All these things, once the materials are ready from us, then he will be ready to work for like whole night to make these things available. So he's behind all these things. We're being so grateful to him, and also all the Tibet House staff. For example, our the Bishla's assistant, Tenzin Kusala, she has been working so hard. Yeah. And then we have the secretary, then the children-la, and we have Chotan-la, Sambela, then Nimala there, who is, the one making all the videos and the audience videos, all possible, Nimala. So we have been, we should be feeling so grateful to him and all the people, right? Okay, and then, yes, so particularly making the transcripts available, this makes things so easy for all the participants. So, Rimala, thank you so much. And Rimala, the Bishla's work of being very systematic, likewise Rimala's proper planning, the systematization, these are just exemplary. I was so impressed. Yeah. So we all keep them in our prayers. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.